got all the holes drilled to run the 12 volt. So what we're doing is drilled through this drip rail down at an angle and then popped through into the engine room so the cable, or so the wiring is nice and hidden. Next step is I'm building some tracks, some wooden tracks out of Jatoba that will hide this. It'll run up along here, then along there, along, continue, then the light will be here. But then I drilled a hole here and will continue the track along here. Even though there won't be any wiring there, by continuing it across, it at least completes the symmetry and it just looks nicer. But I drilled the hole just so we have a, in case we do ever need to run anything there, we can drill the hole, or we have the hole already drilled, since it'll be covered up by the tracks, and you won't see it anyway, but have the hole drilled so that way we don't have to mess the paint up or anything if we ever do decide to run anything there. Also drilled down into the engine room. Then we're going to bring it up, across, and then I'll be bringing it right through there, through here, here, and then over. And we're actually going to center this light right with this, so that way it looks nice and clean. And then there's my beautiful bride. Alright, so I'm making the tracks to hide the wires. I forgot to record the first step, so I set the table saw to 1 inch, so that way I could get 1 inch wide strip. So I cut 3 strips out of the piece I had. This is the little guy I have left after that. So what I'm doing now is taking the table saw, and you can see, not sure if you'll be able to see that, but you can see that the blade I have coming up to like right about there depth wise. So what I'm doing now is I'll slowly move this out a little farther each time, so that way I end up cutting the grooves out, and that's how I actually make the track to hide the wire. So you can see the track's starting to get a little wider now. So move it out a little farther. So you can see on that one, went a little wider, so we'll have to go in between now and knock that out also. This is the thickness that we're wanting to keep for the outside. That's also about the thickness that we have, that the blade's penetrating, leaving that much, so that way we have a nice frame and this isn't going to collapse on itself. Alright, gone through with the table saw and got this all notched out. So now what I'm doing is just taking a little file, and all these little flimsy guys that are in there, you can just take the file, run it down through, and just break out all these little flimsy guys. Alright, and now we're left with just a nice track. This will hide the wire nicely. This gives us enough room that if I end up needing to run another wire up there for whatever, I've got room to run a couple in here and hide it nicely. I'm going to bevel these edges, but not on all of them, only the ones that are in the center of the cabin. I'll bevel both edges. If it's sitting up against a bulkhead or something, I'll leave one side flush and one side beveled. Alright, started with a 3.5 inch wide by 1/2 inch piece of Jatoba. Cut these down into 1-inch strips. Now we've gone through and run the table saw through. So started with that, ended with that. So really nice track to be able to run the wire through. And I wish I had left a little more on this piece up top, right there, because I'm gonna have to barely router this now, since I didn't give myself much thickness. But be able to run several wires through there, have it look nice and hidden. So I've already routered the middle section here, along here. For now, I'm only doing the one side until I figure which piece is getting cut for where, because some of these pieces are going up against a flush bulkhead, so this side doesn't need to be routed, only the one side. But other pieces that are going down the center of the cabin top will get both sides routed. So for now, I've just routed this one side. I've moved the clamps so I can get the very ends now, and so that's what we're going to do. So we have one side that's nice and beveled going down the whole edge, just so it looks a little cleaner. And then we still have the 90 degree on this side to go up flush against, well, it'll actually be upside down like that, to go up flush against a bulkhead. And then that bottom side, nice and routed now.